All right, there we are.
Here we are.
There we are, episode 221.
I'm cold.
Cheers.
Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry, you don't have a drink.
I don't. Sorry.
Well,
It's the morning.
sucks for you. Well,
Kind of.
Technically not. It's 1:30 in the afternoon.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
This is actually, ironically, when I start drinking.
Oh.
Typically. It's usually around 1:30. On college football Saturday, this is typically always when I
I didn't even
drinking.
think about that, but yeah, you'd want to be drinking while watching football. It's kind of...
And the Ohio State game is, I believe it's on right now.
Isn't it kind of therapeutic just to drink when you're watching sports?
It's the best. I mean, the two things. Oh my God, Michigan's winning. It is currently 14-10. I'm gonna give updates live on here. Both teams 10-1, but Michigan Wolverines clearly not as good as Ohio State, but they are currently leading them in quarter two. So with 3:51 left. So we'll give live breakdowns of the game.
It's like tune in Monday to get the...
Yeah. Want to know the outcome of the game? You'll have to wait till Monday morning.
But it's all live.
Yeah, it's interesting. I thought they were going to womp on the Wolverines because they beat the shit out of Michigan State last week. It was so one-sided. But I think this always happens. You know, Ohio State gets off to a slow start, and then usually in the second half, especially against Michigan, they'll just come out and dominate.
How delicious those chocolate-covered peanut Buckeyes.
You mean just Buckeye? Well, it's chocolate-covered peanut butter.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're delicious. Buckeyes are really good.
Are...
If they're done right.
I've seen people butcher them.
Yeah, if they're done right, they're good. But I know some people are like, I have the best Buckeye recipe. And the whole thing is not Ohio State, but it literally looks like a Buckeye.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, if you eat a Buckeye...
You break your teeth.
And they're poisonous.
Oh, even worse.
They're really poisonous. They're really terrible for you. You throw up and all
Could
kinds
you
of
eat
shit.
a Wolverine, though?
Yes.
I think you could, right?
Yeah.
Lean, gamey meat.
You know, it's interesting. For a while, I never knew what a Wolverine was. My only association with a Wolverine was X-Men, who's this badass guy with claws. But if you actually look up a Wolverine, they look like little bitch dogs.
Yeah.
That have claws, but it's just like, what are you going to do? It's a Wolverine is not a wolf.
Yeah, no.
If you compared a wolf to a Wolverine, you go, one's a little bitch and one's a badass.
Yeah.
Wolverines are not
do they bark, you think?
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, they are canines. Are they canines?
I don't know.
I don't know what a Wolverine is.
But I would.
They actually look more like rodents.
I would say it would take away all the masculinity of Wolverine the X-Men if he actually made like a little bitch bark.
He was like, that'd be hilarious if it was like, like did that guy just bark at us? His claws come out, it's like, and you hear like the sheen of the metal like go through his skin, and he's just like, God, that'd be fucking fantastic. That would be so funny if Wolverine just had a little bitch bark. Oh my God, that'd be so fucking great. All right, let's get into it, shall we? I think we can get into it. Let's get into it. And we've got some news today. First thing up on Cigar News, Ace Prime ships the Sergeant. Isn't it weird how Sergeant sounds like an SAR, but it reads like Sergeant?
Sergeant.
It sounds like if a Canadian were to say Sergeant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, look at Sergeant Doyle over there.
Yeah, Sergeant. Yeah, that's such a weird spelling.
It is weird. And same with Lieutenant.
Oh, Lieutenant, I can't even spell it.
Colonel.
Colonel. Yeah, it's so funny.
Lieutenant. You know how many times I have to spell check Lieutenant?
Oh,
because I don't know how to spell it.
All the I's and the E's.
Dude, there's a U.
Oh, there's a U.
That's the only one that makes sense, honestly. It looks like Louis Chonant.
Why couldn't it just be phonetical? Lutenet.
You mean P-honetical?
Yeah, P-honetical, which is such a weird fuckery.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, dude. So, like, I don't know. The only one that makes sense is Major. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Captain, kind of.
Yeah, and Private.
Yeah. They're Lieutenant. All the ones in the middle. Like, kind of shitty. Like, let's make them super hard to spell. Let's make Sergeant look like Surgeon.
Now, before you go up in rank, the last question we have for your examination is, please spell Lieutenant.
If you're gonna get promoted to the position, you must be able to spell
In
it.
order for us to approve this
How many
promotion.
people? How many people fail?
So many.
So 80%, 85%.
I didn't know that was in the test.
Because I think a lot of military people are kind of dum-dums anyway. Oh, did I just say that out loud? Oh my God.
Oh, I know.
I'm just kidding. They're not. Some of the smartest, most intelligent people I've ever met. You know, they're geniuses. Anyway, so Ace Prime has the Sergeant. It released at PCA. It's a 5x58 Robusto Gordo. Kind of an interesting Vitola. I kind of like the fact that it's a 58 ring gauge. Ecuadorian grown Corojo 99 wrapper. It has double binder in it, which it doesn't really give. They haven't released the ratios on that particular binder. And then, of course, Nicaraguan fillers. Obviously traditional for Ace Prime and the Pichardo factory. So this whole thing was created, obviously, by its name as an ode to one specific person that I always call him Lucky Luciano, but it's obviously the guy who owns Ace Prime.
Again, what's up with this non-phonetic? If I was gonna spell my name and my name was pronounced Luciano,
Yeah.
it would be Looshiano.
Yeah. This looks like Lucky Ano.
Lucky Ano.
The old Lucky Ano. Yeah. So anyway, it's an ode to one of Luciano's friends, Luciano Marialas, who's the master blender, the bald-headed dude. An ode to one of his friends and like an ode to the military in general. So a really cool, I actually like the band because it has like the Sergeant, Bars and Stars band on it, which is pretty sweet. I haven't had this cigar yet. But I'm interested in it just simply because it was a PCA release and there's a little garnered hype around it.
It's a little clever too because the arrows of the upward Sergeant
Point to smoking your mouth.
Point to please smoke from this end.
Yeah, it really kind of does.
Which
is actually kind of brilliant, really, when you look at it.
I doubt they even thought of that.
Nope.
But hey, for you
I like the association
uninitiated who don't know which end to smoke, the arrows will help you on this Sergeant.
Yeah, I dig it. Anyway, I'm excited. I hope these reach our local humidors soon because I assume they would have these since they carry all the Ace Prime stuff. So interested in smoking this. PCA release. Like I said before, a little bit of a garnered hype around it. $10.50 a stick, I would say, for all things considered, especially stuff that's come out recently. It's not a bad price. So we'll see when they arrive, hopefully in the next week or so. Yeah. Next up, our buddies at Postani.
Oh shit!
It's actually pronounced like Voltec.
Okay.
So do you know what who Votek was or what Votek was?
Nope.
Votek. It is a Syrian bear. So the Polish army bought this bear cub from Syria. It's a Syrian brown bear, and they used it in the war.
Hey.
They used the bear in the war. There's like pictures of this fucking bear. It's dope as shit. And the bear was like carrying ammo for him and all kinds of stuff.
Shout out to our Polish heritage for some creative
pretty dope
thinking.
Yeah, it's very cool. So, they have like the war bear. Obviously, this is like the Wotek. This is a 2021 release. It's a 6x52 box press Toro, barber pole style on the wrapper. Although I don't have a good picture of that. I really wanted to kind of zoom in and see it, but I can't really see it. The image is pretty small. But, dude, one of the things that I think is kind of crazy, though, and not that all these releases are... Yeah. I think they usually hit this price point, but I feel like the price point on these cigars is just elevating. It's like incrementally just increasing over time where it's like, now we're talking this particular release, 500 boxes, 21 cigars, $13.40 each. Now, here's the thing. I like the Nica Sueño cigars, so I would be very curious as far as how good this is. Some of the Postani stuff is really delicious. I love the Habano. I love the broadleaf just in traditional sense. They're really good cigars. Great. But yeah, this is Habano from Ecuador, Mexican San Andreas. That's what you're going to get in the varied wrapper types and then Indonesian binder, Dominican and Nicaraguan fillers.
I can't get over this fact. I got to mention it before we move on. I apologize.
The bear?
The bear is so creative. And I think about so many applications for this. Has anybody thought about...
How do you use a Syrian bear?
Has anybody even contemplated the potential of using these bears to drug smuggle? You can clearly hide it in the bear's anus all winter.
Yeah.
You could hide your drugs inside this bear all winter.
Yeah, hibernated bear anus. No one's checking that.
In caves in Poland.
Honestly, you don't even have to wait for the winter. No one's going to inspect a bear's asshole.
No.
But dude, there's the bear in the war, dude. Just fucking hanging out with his Polish friends. Carrying ammo and shit.
You know how much cocaine I could shove up that bear's ass?
Soldier bear, dude. So cool, man. Look how cool that thing is. Could you imagine having a bear just like in battle with you?
Could you imagine?
It'd be so fucking sweet.
Could you imagine the vet? Like, yeah, we found a bear who looked like he was having trouble shitting when it came out of hibernation. Yeah, well, let's see. We'll bring it in. We'll sedate it and check out. And they fucking open up the bear's anus, like they find like bags of cocaine. Like, what the
fuck? Could you imagine, like, just what the reaction would be to that? Think about how a news story would that be? 450-pound black bear found hibernating and the Yellowstone National Park
found 5 kilos of cocaine in its ass. We're still looking for the culprits of the drug runners who've been using these bears.
In a clever attempt to smuggle drugs. Oh, man. So funny.
Oh,
actually,
fuck.
It's not a bad idea.
That's what I'm saying. This bear thing is clever as fuck.
It's not a bad idea. I feel like you could train a bear to do a lot of stuff too.
Oh, for sure.
And you could not inspect the bear's anus unless you tranquilize it.
Right.
And even then, you're not going to think about it.
Right.
It's very clever. I feel like, but if you think about drug smuggling though, I don't think there's a lot of bears housed in the Mexican border.
That's true.
You'd have to use like an armadillo or something.
The border police like, they might find it strange. There's a black bear out here. There's a black bear out here.
And it's walking all bow-legged. Every time it farts, you just see like a cloud of white powder. It's just like... Is there cocaine in that bear's asshole? What's in there?
I think of dolphins. I mean, think about we use Mother Nature to smuggle drugs.
You could. PETA would be pissed. God, they'd be so angry. PETA would be so angry.
Coast Guard found 30 dead dolphins floating in the ocean. Apparently, they had troubles breathing until we discovered that there was bags of cocaine stuck in their blowhole.
Little baggies. Oh my god.
Oh fuck.
That is really funny. Anyway, so that release is coming out. That's pretty exciting news. We don't really there's not many humidors around here that have the Postani brand.
No,
so
but they are good though.
Yeah, they are good. I really like their stuff. Again, huge Nico Sueño fan. So those will be heading to shelves very soon. And next on the list, Black Starline Cigars releases Dark Witch, War Witch. Sorry, they came out with the War Witch last year, which of course is a fairly new brand. I believe the owner's from Chicago. We actually smoked and reviewed, or at least I smoked and reviewed, the original War Witch, which was actually a Connecticut shade-grown wrapper. So the variance between this new cigar called the Dark War Witch, which I feel like War Witches are already dark.
Yeah.
It's like a dark thing. I don't think there's a light War Witch.
And aren't all witches at war?
Always.
With humanity?
Always. This is the Dark War Witch, which of course garners a darker shade wrapper. So this uses a wrapper type Nicaraguan Puro, of course, because it's made at Aganorsa, the Corojo 99 wrapper, with, I believe, the same blends, minus, of course, the Connecticut shade wrapper on the original. It's a 6x46 box press Corona. I actually really like that Vitola a lot. When I smoked the original one and got samples of it, I didn't really like it that much. I thought it was too forward on some undesirable flavors. And maybe it's because cannot get into Connecticut shade grown cigars. I tried. I smoked one yesterday and it was actually not bad, but I'm just like, I have a hard time with it. So I'm hoping that this elevates this blend a little bit more now that it's a second iteration. I think it's really actually kind of strange because the feedback from the collective community was, hey, cool that you came out with this Connecticut shade. We want something with a darker wrapper. I'm surprised they didn't start with a darker wrapper and then go to Connecticut shade. But then again, it's not my business to run. They can do what they want to do. But Aganorsa, of course, everybody contracts with them. They're the whores of the industry. And this cigar is going to come in at
a really nice horse.
Really nice whores. Make some really good cigars. So they output, if you think in terms of whores, they're like Vegas. They're they're more like escorts.
Yeah.
And then you have some other brands that truly are like downtown hookerish.
Yeah, they're not like red light district type.
No, upscale. You got to call them to get a girl. You can't just pull up in your car and snap your fingers. And she's going to be there. Like
girls at the red light, they pay you to have sex with them.
Yeah.
100%. That's
how bad they are. They're like, listen, I'll suck you a dick. I won't charge.
It's like, no.
Do you remember when that guy?
I'll give you $5.
Do you remember that guy that tried to give us his jacket in downtown Dayton?
Yeah.
And it was like he wanted to sell us his jacket. This was years ago. We were in high school. So this guy wanted to sell us his jacket, and I remember it was a maroon jacket, and he was a homeless guy. Goes without saying. And it had a bunch of tears and shit in it, and he's like, "Hey kids." I imagine that's what he said. I don't remember. But it was like, "Hey kids,
hey boys, you go to the school too."
Hey boys. And he asked us, "Do you have any money?" And we're like, "No, we don't have any money." We were dropping something off at Clear Vision Radio. I think it was one of our CD samples.
Oh shit! Okay.
So it was downtown. Maybe you weren't there. I was definitely there. And this black homeless guy, doesn't matter if he's black, but homeless guy walks up and he's got this really like what appears to be in the distance a kind of dope rad maroon leather jacket on. And it's, mind you, super fucking cold outside. Like really fucking cold. Like I can like see your breath, like 20 degrees type cold. So it's cold. And I remember he's like, "Hey boys." I don't know if that's actually what he sounded like. I imagine that's what he sounded like. He's like, "You boys got any money?" And we're like, "No, we don't have any money." And we weren't there. I mean, it's like, it's like we're kids. Like we don't have a bunch of cash on us and shit. We're like, "No, we don't have any money." He's like, "I'll sell you his jacket." And I think it may have been Andy. I think it was Andy was like haggling, then started haggling with the guy. And he's like, he's like, "Man." And I figured he's like, "I'll sell this jacket to you for $20. And he's like, "I'd jacket anywhere $20. He's like, "I'll sell it $10. And then we're like, "We don't want your jacket." And he's like, "Nah, man." And then he goes to walk away. And then we turn, and then he turns back around. He's like, $5. And everyone's like, "We don't want your jacket." And he goes, "I'll just give you the fucking jacket." And he like took it off his shoulders. It's 20 degrees outside. And I was like, I don't think this guy knows how to wheel and deal. No. This may be why he's homeless.
Dude, no. That's a murder jacket. That is a jacket that's got evidence on it. He needed to give it to someone else.
Well, what's funny is that at closer inspection, you could see all the tears in the lining in the jacket and
Knife fight.
For sure some shit happened. This jacket has seen some shit.
Yeah.
This jacket's been to war.
Yeah.
For sure. This jacket is like message in a bottle. That shit's been across the ocean. Probably came from fucking Vietnam. It's just traveled the goddamn world. It's just been through some shit.
What if it was cursed?
Could have been.
And
Dude.
What if he was a well-established aristocrat or some high like profile celebrity or like rich guy? And he managed to pick up this cursed jacket and lost everything. And he just wants to get rid of it.
Like the Lord of the Rings ring.
Yeah. Like it just ruined his life.
It's really a curse at the end of the day. Yeah, it could have been. I think it was funny that he just turned around and he's like, "I'll just give you the goddamn jacket." And like literally started taking off his shoulder like, "We don't want your fucking jacket."
Who does
and
that?
He like threw it on the ground and he's just in a t-shirt, like in a white t-shirt, freezing his ass off. It's fucking the middle of winter.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck just happened?
That jacket had evidence on it.
Oh, for sure. There's probably drips of blood. I mean, it's probably good that it was red because we couldn't see the blood stains on it, but
it's like there's cops patrolling around the area and like, "We're looking for a man in a burgundy maroonish leather jacket." And he's like, "Well, who the fuck I'm going to give this to?"
Yeah, it's so strange.
Well,
man.
if I'm going to get out of going to prison, maybe I can make $20 off of it.
I thought it was interesting that he was, he wanted to haggle and he haggled us all the way down to free. I literally be like, "I don't think you know how this game works." Listen, I am not an economical genius, but I know.
I wish he offered you money.
That would be hilarious. "Oh, I'll give you $5. You take this jacket." You're like, "God damn, you got yourself a deal."
Yeah,
Go home with this swazzy fucking maroon jackets. So interesting. Anyway, I don't know how we got on that tangent, but there's the Warwitch, $11.99 for these cigars. They'll be out in bundles of 20. Hopefully it'll be out soon. I am excited to try this simply for the fact, but you know what? I'll be honest with you. Like, I'm just kind of over the stuff that's come out of Aganorsa, unless it's actually like a really super reputable brand that I know gets like tip top product from Aganorsa.
Yeah.
Everybody else is kind of doing some of the sub brand stuff or like small contracting. I'm just not interested. It all seems to kind of meld and blend together now. I'm just not interested in trying the cigars. I am interested in trying this new one, the Dark Warwitch, simply because it does have a darker wrapper on it. And because I really didn't like the first one that much, I'm wondering what kind of dynamic it will have this time with the switch of wrapper type.
Yeah, for sure.
Hopefully it'll be a better balance than what I got before. The other one was like overwhelmingly peppery, just not a lot to it at all. It was just very like blah, very dry, very kind of bland cigar in my opinion. So anyway, that's it for the news. I do want to this is something new I wanted to do.
Oh, okay.
So and I gotta utilize my phone for this. So there's obviously, we know a lot of people in the cigar industry and know some of the females too. Some I would say more attractive females.
Sure.
And we've talked about this before as far as like the creepy old guy vibe or just creepy guy vibe that exists out there in the world. Well, what happened was I'm not going to name the name, but a friend of the podcast, friend of the show, friend of us started sending me screenshots of DMs that she was getting from people, creepy dudes in the industry. And dude, some of them are fired. By the way, this is just one person. And I have like 30 of these fucking things.
Oh my God.
Not that much. It's like 20.
I think I know who you're talking about.
But think about all the women that we know that probably get these on a regular basis. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue soliciting some of these. Yeah. And I'm not going to, for their sake, obviously not going to name any names. And for now, I'm not going to uncover the people who have sent the messages. But long term, I may start throwing it out there because some of them are hilarious and I feel like the world just needs to know.
Plus, I think we have to control or help guide this industry a little bit. Like, we're satirical. We make fun of things and it gets some laughs, but it doesn't create waves yet. It doesn't create waves. It doesn't change the tides.
Yeah.
We need something in order to correct, to realign, get this whole cigar industry back on course of being gender neutral. We gotta start making some bold moves. We gotta start exposing shit.
Yeah.
So that we can start making some real change here. And that includes us. We say some off-color shit.
Oh, we say some shit.
I'm aware of it.
Yeah.
But we do better.
We always try to be better.
But let's
listen, oftentimes when you're in the heat of the moment.
But let's take the spotlight off of us and focus on other people.
So here's one that came in, and I'm just going to read what the person had said.
Okay.
Hi. Sorry for the odd question. Have you ever kicked a man in the nuts? ? By the way, my favorite one are the Romeo and Julieta from La Habana. Which are yours? Obviously talking about cigars. So this guy clearly is into the kick of the nuts thing, which I'm telling you is actually pretty common. I was telling you the story the night. The guy that I kicked in Vegas. I punted a guy in the nuts in Vegas. I paid him money to kick him in the nuts.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. It feels good even though I didn't know it didn't hurt him. Dude, when you're drunk walking the streets of Vegas and some guy's like, "Hey, pay me $10, I'll let you kick me in the nuts." I'm like, there's no way this could go wrong.
Until you find out it's an NFL punter.
How fucked up would that be?
Fucking ruin.
They don't have to see your credentials. You're like a soccer player.
It's like, listen, I need to make money. I was doing this thing. People thought it was funny.
You shatter their pelvis.
Before I knew it, I picked the wrong person, and I'm a eunuch.
Yeah. God, man. And the guy had testicles too. I made him prove it. Anyway, so I thought that was a really good one because it just starts off, it's weird because there's no subtle intro. It's not like, let me get to know you. It's like, hey, had you ever let a guy kick you in the nuts before? It's like, what?
Maybe it's
how is that your opener?
Maybe it's just started with like, I'm terrible at icebreaker comments, icebreaker questions. But would you kick a man in the nuts?
By the way, these are okay. Again, this is like people in the cigar community,
real people.
Here's another one. Nothing is more sexy than a woman smoking a cigar, and that is Greek also. By the way, this particular person that sent me this isn't Greek at all. So I thought that was hilarious. I can tell by this gentleman's name, he is Greek. I think it's so funny, like the bold intro into starting a conversation. You know what I mean? Like, how does somebody in their head, as a guy, maybe I just don't understand this. As a guy, it goes, you're thinking the thought process like, man, I really want to DM this person. What am I going to say? And they go, nothing is more sexy than a woman smoking a cigar. Like the woman's going to react going, I know. Like, no, they're going, what the fuck? And by the way, you assume this person's Greek, who, but I will say this, Greek has a look, doesn't look Greek at all. I'm like, where the fuck did that come from?
What if she was Asian? It's like, what the fuck, dude? Like, what, are you fucking blind?
Oh, by the way, this is the best because I love like when somebody starts off a conversation and says no offense. And you go, well, I'm automatically going to take offense to it. So this one comes from a guy who says, hi, ... I'm sorry if this offends you or whatever, but I find you really attractive. Can we get acquainted? I'm divorced and would love to talk with someone that just can cheer me up. I can pay you if it would cost me maybe a weekly allowance of $500. Like I said, no offense, darling. What?
Dude, you're
But also, $500 a week. So when I started seeing some of these messages, I honestly got a little offended and jealous. I'm like, why don't I
get those offers?
Now, do we get some guys that like guys in the DMs every once in a while? Yep, it happens. It happens. It's not an infrequent thing. It happens.
Yep.
But I've never had someone say, hey, $500 just to like talk to me. $500? Listen, I'm not saying you want to, women, but the world is at your fingertips with these types of things. You could literally name your price. And this poor, sad person who is clearly in the military and has a small child, wants your companionship.
It's, be frank, you're fishing in the wrong pond here, friend.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
you want that type of love.
But how
affection?
many times do you think that message is a copy and pasted into other DMs?
I don't know, but I would see that easily in a Craigslist ad.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Let's do one more because there's so many, but I would do one more because we're going to have to take a break and then get into the review. But this one is hi, starts out with hi. And then there are 2 messages sent that are images that literally say tap to see blurred image, which are never opened.
Oh,
probably a good thing. Do not add you for nothing just because like you, I like cigars and everyone who likes it because I add it for me. It is a privilege to have someone who knows how to appreciate the taste and smell of a good cigar. Now, probably foreign because that was very broken in terms of the way that, and also I want to say this person's name so bad. It's very Spanish. It's a good name, but I'm not going to say it. I got to hold it.
Say it.
I may say
Oh, my word.
So good. So good. I love that one. I just love how, like, there's 2 images. Obviously, she was smart enough not to open those up because there's definitely going to be a wiener on the other end of them. But I think it's fantastic. Okay, let's do...
I would so lovely want to do that to someone else and, like, send a photo like, hey, how do you like this Connecticut shake? It's just a picture of my dick.
This is a fucking white wiener. Do you like a Mosquero? That's the way to do it.
Hey,
at least be clever about it.
Yo, bitch, I got a 6x50 with your name on it.
Oh, at least be clever about it. Let's do one more before we got to take a break. This one says, you look amazing smoking. Do you like to be spoiled or have your cigars paid for? Again, why is this not in our DMs? I'm concerned by this. I'm jealous in the fact that we don't get any of these offers. That's a great offer. You get your cigars paid for by probably just really... I mean, if you got to go to the point where you're like sending nudes and some shit, like obviously you don't want to do that.
Hey.
But if you could just be like someone's companion and just maybe like chit chat with them.
You want to see something fucking sexy? Watch me eat some of those Fave Red Starbursts. Fucking Starburst. If you're interested, I'll eat some fucking Starburst and I'll make it look fucking sexy.
Yeah, there you go. Chris will eat a Starburst. All right, let's take a quick break. We do have a review coming up. We'll take a quick break. Get a little something from our sponsor. We'll be back at you guys in just a minute. Hang tight. Chris, I'm going to ask you a question. Why do you like My Cigar Pack? My Cigar Pack has been a sponsor of the show for quite some time, but why do you like My Cigar Pack over the other packs?
Because I don't have to think about it. Listen, the monotony of making decisions for the safety and well-being of your family, making hard decisions at work, deciding on who's going to get your boat in your will, you don't want to have to think. Like the last thing you want to do at the end of the day when you're chilling and you just want to enjoy cigars is to think about what the fuck you're going to pick.
Yeah, I agree.
Sometimes I just want someone to pick for me.
Yeah.
And trust that they impart some sage wisdom on what they know I like and what they know I'll appreciate. So that I don't have to worry that I'm getting shit, My Cigar Pack kind of does that, right?
They do that. It's curated packs, which are awesome. And I have to say, the November pack that we got, right up our alley.
Yeah.
A ton of good cigars, cigars from the most premier manufacturers, including the Factory Direct program cigars, which are amazing.
Like when your wife asks you, hey, honey, what would you like or she doesn't ask you. She's like, hey, honey, I'm making spaghetti and meatballs tonight. And you go, holy fuck, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. How did you know?
And she's like, I didn't even have to ask because I know you too well.
Yep.
And you're like, fuck, I didn't even have to answer. I didn't even have to make a decision. You made it for me. For once, I can be the dependent.
Yeah.
For once.
Yeah, I do feel that it's My Cigar Pack is almost like they're always looking through your window. They know every move that you're going to make.
They're our cigar daddy.
All your fucking desires.
They're cigar daddy. They know best.
Yeah, so you got to check them out, www.mycigarpack.com. And if you enter promo code HOT10 at checkout, you'll get $10 off your first pack. Again, that's www.mycigarpack.com, promo code HOT10 at checkout for $10 off your first pack. All right, we're back.
Hi.
Here we go.
I was Instagramming one of my favorite girl cigar smokers. I was sending her a message.
Was it what you said you were going to send her? You say, hey, I'll pay you money to kick me in my ding dong?
Yeah, no, I said I've got a bunch of cigars that need milking.
Oh, dude. So funny. Where did I see this? Oh, I got to post this video. Dude, these people are going to get so mad at us, but I almost don't even care. I don't even care. There's this video of this girl. Oh, let me see if I can find it.
But when you say stupid shit online, like, what do you expect? It's no different if you're at a bar, right? It's no different if you're at a bar and
for sure.
And you said something to some girl, and then she tells her friends, and then they all get a gaggle out of it, and then those friends tell those friends, and those friends tell those friends, and before you know it, you're hanging out at another bar 3 months later, and you're hearing this story from someone about shit you said to this female.
Oh, for sure.
Just watch what you say, man.
Yeah. Well,
Shit
I mean,
gets
here's
around.
the thing. And also just know, like, hey, if you're going to shoot your shot. But just know that when that shit gets out there, it's out there.
Yeah.
I love this video. This is great. I'm just showing this. Sorry, people can't.
Okay.
I may post it on
Familiar
here.
with her? What
the fuck was that?
Okay.
I may.
She's clearly smoking cigars for the wrong reason.
So I sent this to a friend of ours. This is the one he sent me. Wait, there's a part where she goes like this. She's just like, dude, it's seriously the most laughable thing on earth. I may actually post this video. So as you probably watching it right now. She's gonna be so pissed if she ever sees a podcast, but she looks too dumb to know.
Oh my!
This particular person who's a very close friend of the show's goes, I bet you won't. He goes, I bet you won't post. I'm like, motherfucker, you do not know me well enough.
Dude, it reminds me.
I thought we were close.
It reminds me of an old Instagram post I actually made for TikTok.
Did you?
Yeah.
You were TikTok? Oh, I'm back on TikTok. Did I say that? Yeah. Because I have all these reels that I post. I'm like, why not be a TikTard?
Yeah. That's true. Yeah,
you know
I did.
It doesn't make sense not to.
I did the song "I'm Bringing Sexy Back" by Justin Timberlake while smoking a cigar.
Oh, but you do it like as a joke. It's satirical.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, these people do not do it satirically. But one of the things I was thinking was like, how funny would it be if we took some of these videos and layered in our own? Like, this person does it, and then you do it.
Oh,
you do a repeat of it,
yeah.
and I'll just post them out.
Fuck yeah.
I'll find something really stupid, then I'll have you redo it.
Yeah. I'm ready.
Like the milking one?
Yeah, I want to milk a cigar so bad.
Dude, you've got to milk the fuck out of a cigar. So funny. So let me find some. I'll send them to you, and then you just layer in, because I can layer in videos over each other.
Okay.
Just make sure it's kind of quick.
So you just need the video from me.
I just need a video from you, and I'll layer the 2 videos together.
Done. Done.
Oh, dude, the content available for this is so fucking great. Anyway, hey, we've got a review today. We haven't done a review in a while, so I'm really excited to actually get into this one. This is one that you and I were talking about last week, actually, on the podcast, because we went over the news release that it was hitting shelves, and that is the Placencia Cosecha 149. Now, did I make the mistake of posting the other day in my story this cigar? Yes, I did, because I called it the Placencia Cosecha, and the people at Plasencia emailed back and corrected the name for me. And I can't tell if they didn't know I was joking or if they were just pissed. I'm not really sure. But there's quite a few people that messaged me and are like, that's fucking hilarious. One person who I'm actually probably going to have on the podcast soon, and I think I'm going to have him on the second edition of the influencer episode, because he himself is actually would be considered an influence,
be hilarious.
But he is like very I think he's great. I love reading the stuff that he posts. Very knowledgeable about cigars. Just great, like some of the best content for sure. But he responded because this is fucking hilarious, and then goes, I was like, yeah, I think they're mad. He goes, well, yeah. He goes, if it was my brand, I'd be mad too, but it's still fucking funny. I'm like, yeah. So I think Placencia,
no shame,
probably not too thrilled about but by the way, they'll reshare anything that I do. Not this time.
Not the
Placencia Cosecha. They sure as hell
had a stellar track record until you posted that shit.
They were like, hold the brakes. They're going through all their tag content, and they're like, we're not reposting
I remember them putting out a story that says, we'll post anything with a Placencia cigar in it. And he did. And
look,
he didn't share it.
Did not share my content.
What's the deal?
Which is some bullshit if you really think about it. I was thinking about when I posted, I'm like, Placencia Cosecha just sounds like, it sounds like I just picture like Kylie Jenner giving birth at Coachella. Like, look at this Placencia Cosecha. And it's just one of the Kardashians just like giving birth to a baby.
Placencia, you mentioned it. The thing about it is any press is good press in the cigar industry.
You would think, here's the thing. They may be mad at it, but it's like, dude, that shit goes to like 20,000 people.
Yeah, dude.
And by the way, you think I'm making a mockery and a joke, but it creates and garners some attention. Like, you should have seen all the fucking messages I got where people were like, that's hilarious. They're thinking about your cigar, Placencia. They're thinking about the Cosecha 149 now. Now, are they going to call it the Placencia Cosecha? Yeah. You're just going to have to get used to it. They're going to walk into humidors. Someone's going to have it in their head. They're going to go, hey, do you have that new Placencia Cosecha? And the rep at the humidor is going to go, the what? And you go, yeah, the Placencia Cosecha 149. They're going to go, you mean the Placencia Cosecha 149? And you go, yeah, the Placencia Cosecha 149.
Yeah. What do you think?
Get used to it, B&Ms.
What do you think they do with the placenta after fucking childbirth?
Here's the thing. Maybe what I'll do is for anybody that goes and videos themselves going into a humidor and ask for the Placencia Cosecha 149, I'll send you a 5-pack of cigars. But you got a video you going into a humidor asking for the Placencia Cosecha.
And it better show their faces too.
I'll send some cigars. Maybe not all 5 packs. I'll send you a couple, because the last thing I want is like 50 people doing it. And then I have no more cigars.
And I want to see them try to correct you. And you're like, yeah, the placenta.
Yeah, the Placencia Cosecha.
That'd be great. That'd be great.
I agree with that.
That would be really good.
Do it, everybody. You'll love it.
That'd be really good.
It'll be really funny. The industry will love it. Anyway, so we broke down the Placencia Cosecha 149. Now, years ago, I had the 146, and here's what I will say about the 146. I think it is one of the most underrated Placencia cigars I've had. And as a matter of fact, I think up until this point, may I would say just on a consistency basis, probably my favorite. I think it is the most consistent in terms of the experience that I get, and also is probably price point value for the cigar overall. I think is one of the best because it's not the most expensive one. I mean, you have the Alma del Campo. You have the Alma Fuerte, the Del Fuego. You have the new Natural that came out, and those are all like upwards of that $20 echelon range.
Yeah,
but the Cosecha always kind of had a nice little place in that $12 range. Mm-hmm. And I always thought the 146 was absolutely incredible. So the backstory of the 149, it really has to do with the crop year, I believe. So the 146 came out in 2017, which was a crop year. This is obviously coming out in 2021, which is 149. And there isn't much of a story behind it other than that. So let's get and obviously these are made at Placencia. I didn't have to actually put that in my notes. This is a 2021 release, obviously right towards the end of the year. It is kind of interesting to me how some of these later releases in the end of the year, like some of them become like, I think more and more are starting to see like late year 2021 releases. And I don't know if it's like, let's get the cigar out and put it on shelves for Cigar Aficionado when they're starting to do their ratings or whatever. But it seems like in the recent years, starting to see more popular kind of hyped up cigars released towards the end of the year. Maybe announced in PCA, but actually hit shelves towards the end of the year.
Maybe it's like the movie theater industry or the movie industry where there's like prime times.
You try to time the award shows.
Maybe in between crop seasons, and then it's like a big marketing push, and then a bit crop seasons and resting and
maybe. I will say what I loved about this particular cigar is it is a Honduran Puro, which is so cool because I love Honduran tobacco, and I always say like there's certain people that utilize Honduran in the best way possible and just imparts wonderful flavors. This is untraditional for Placencia, so I'm actually really interested to see how the cigar breaks down being a Honduran Puro. We smoked the box press Gordito, which is a 4 and 8 sep. Basically a 5x60. I'm gonna go with that. It's a 5. I think it's like a 4 and 7/8 technically.
Yeah.
By 60. But I like the fact that it was a 60 ring gauge box press. And typically, would I always default to the Robusto? Yes. But in this instance, I'm like, this is such a cool looking Vitola, and the fact that it's a 60 ring gauge, but it's box press. I'm like, how can I not? This is the one we got to review, and it comes in at a reasonable, I think, in comparison to the rest of Placencia line, $12 price point.
That's crazy.
Pretty crazy. Let's get into it. Now, we always break down the construction of the cigar first, and we'll really kind of fly through this, and then we'll give you a summary. Chris, what did you think of the construction of the cigar?
I'm so used to seeing box presses in a thinner ring gauge. Hard to say it's a ring when it's boxed. Seems strange to me. But that said, I mean, it's a 60 ring gauge. And the amount of tobacco that they fit into this box press 60 ring gauge is pretty unreal. Like I'm so used to having a real squishy box press. And this one's pretty rigid for a box press.
I thought you weren't going to follow up with press. And just say squishy box because you really halted the press.
I did
after box, and you're like, "This is a real squishy box."
And you know how us guys like our squishy boxes.
Anyway, continue.
Anyways, it's a nice kind of dark, chocolatey looking wrapper. I want to say maybe it was just me. Maybe my eyesight's going in and I need LASIK or some shit. Or maybe I'm got a colorblind issue. I'm not sure. But did you find yours having like a slightly reddish hue to it being Honduran?
Nope.
Yeah. See, I think my eyes are going. You have to get those checked out. But I thought it was kind of very minimal veins. The wrapper even seems slightly thin to me, being Honduran. Very kind of velvety, kind of, but it wasn't fuzzy. It was not a fuzzy wrapper, but minimal veins. Seemed like a thin wrapper, thin Honduran wrapper, dark brownish. Thought it was more reddish. Apparently it isn't. But I thought the construction was great. Placencia makes some fucking crazy fucking hexagonal goddamn cigars.
Yeah, all kinds of weird Vitolas. But I would say if you had to press something, I feel like Placencia does it the best. They're like great at making shapes.
They're great at making shapes.
You know those fucking like little boards that kids get when they're younger, the little toys? You got to fit the rectangle in the rectangle hole, and you got to fit the square in the square hole, and this in this hole, and the hexagon in this hole. I feel like they're just great at those molds. You remember those Play-Doh molds where it's like, hey, here's the hexagonal Play-Doh mold that comes out. I feel like that's just what Placencia does. They're just
Yes.
great at like building and constructing these molds to come up with more clever, creative shapes
Yes.
around tobacco.
So it looked great, man. It's a great looking cigar. The label is interesting. It's such a strong departure from the other types of branding.
Dude, I love it's on par with the regular Cosecha branding, different from the other ones, but I like the color combination.
Yeah, the color,
I thought it looked
black,
really cool.
orange,
Yeah, so that kind of goldish orange
silvery.
look.
Yeah, it's a great constructed cigar. Cap structure is amazing. It was great. It was a great cigar.
Agreed. Beautiful in appearance. I really like. Honestly, I picked that Vitola because it stood out to me on the shelf. I was like, whoa, what is that? I was like, oh, that fat little thing. Oh, that fat little square, that pudgy square up there. It was really cool looking. And I was like, I don't even like 60 ring gauge cigars, but I'm like, I'm sure shit gonna fucking review this one because it's so different, such a departure from the other Vitolas.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a traditional Robusto, which I loved. And I was like, it just looked cool. And I'm like, it could be disgusting, but I'm really curious. And this is the one that I want to review. So I thought it looked beautifully made. I love the box. And the box press is so well defined.
Yes.
Like it's not like the oval that you get. Sometimes like, oh, it's not a lazy box press. The oval thing pisses me off. If it's not intentional and it's supposed to be box, make a box a box. A box is supposed to be squared off. You have 90-degree angles.
Yeah.
Not ovals.
Yeah.
Ovals are not boxes. Boxes are not ovals.
Yeah.
So you're going to make a box press, do a box press. If you're going to make an oval press, do an oval press. Don't interchange the two.
I think the oval press is just the cigars that they stacked at the very bottom and all the weight from the ones on top just squished them.
Maybe.
That's what it is.
Maybe. Could very well be. So yeah, I thought construction was awesome. What do you think about the burn?
Here's the thing. It's a 60 ring gauge, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
thick.
it doesn't feel like a 60 ring gauge in my mouth. And I wonder if it's because of the box press. It just didn't make it seem as fat in my mouth.
Well, think about it. It's almost like with your eyes when you look at something that's 16:9. Remember how we always used to look at aspect ratios that are 4:3, but our eyes are not designed that way. We're supposed to see more in the peripheral, right? By the way, this is some geeky science shit, but this is only because it's the industry I work in. So our eyes actually see wide. We see more in our peripheral. Now we have focus points, right? There's things that we focus on, but we also absorb a ton of information on the sides of our eyes.
Yep.
So then they started doing everything in a 16:9 aspect ratio, but then now it's even a 16:10, which is supposed to be more optimal. That's movie theater quality shit, right? Our eyes look that way, but I think our mouths do the same thing. Our mouths are wide. So if you have something that's box press and widens out, it probably feels more comfortable in your mouth than something that would be sticking up
vertically.
or just in a
I could
regular
see that.
circular shape.
I can see that. So
That's my science to it. I don't know.
that said, I'm saying that because to me, the draw, being as big of a ring gauge as it was comfortable. It was easy. Being a box press at such a large size and very tightly packed with tobacco, more so than other box press I've had. It was an easy draw. It was just enough of resistance. It was a 2-3 puffer for me.
Yep.
Good smoke production. Had 0 runs.
Yeah.
Very consistent burn line.
Yeah, it walked pretty good.
It really did, man. You know, like I was half expecting it being as big as it was. It's kind of like the fat guy that like can't run more than like 50 feet without falling on his face or huffing and giving up.
Yeah.
I expected that with this one.
I was just gonna give
I
up
was
at
like,
some point.
you're a fatty.
Yeah. Yeah, great draw, super consistent burn, which I love to see. Like I again bought the most challenging one because I wanted to see how well it was going to perform, and I always have all the faith in the world in Placencia Cigars. Such a good consistent burn, easy draw, fantastic for a large box press. Chris, what about the flavors? What'd you think?
Flavors, man. Here's what I'll say. Compared to any other Placencia, this one is drastically different in my opinion.
Totally different.
Agreed. My initial flavors I get in the beginning was like sweet and bitter and weirdly leathery, and there was some spice in the beginning. But immediately when I started smoking it, I did it in the morning. Okay, keep that in mind. This was like, you take a risk on a cigar that may be really bold, like some of the other Placencia lines, early in the morning. And I know people do it, but I don't. All right. I've got class. I've got control. But as soon as I took the first few puffs of it, and I felt that little bit of rush of pepper, and then it was just like, fuck, that's like bitter and creamy and kind of leathery. I was like, fuck, I'm going to start retrohaling this bitch. I retrohaled majority of the cigar. And I don't do that very frequently, but it was so mild to me compared to other Placencias that I was like willing to just do it.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, people do. The flavors do change up too. Like I initially got those flavors, like the sweet, bitter, and leatheriness in the beginning with some spice. When it tamed out, it became more creamy and earthy to me. I kind of feel like I lost some of that leatheriness. But dude, it was just like such a. It seemed like such a mild body, or not a mild, but like a medium-bodied cigar.
Yeah.
It was such a nice middle of the road, and there was enough good change-ups in the flavors, like back and forth between the creamy and bitteriness and earthiness, that I was like, man, that's a nice little change-up for them.
Yep.
It's a nice fucking change-up for Plasencia.
Yeah.
Compared to all the other cigars that they have.
Yeah.
And I'm a big Fuerte fan.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, everything in that Placencia is made minus that natural. I'm a huge fan of.
Yeah.
I've smoked all of them.
And it's such a nice addition to the lineup. And I was like, oh, this is truly a cigar that I think is like a good standout cigar. And the flavor profile for it is good, that I feel like anybody could smoke it. And at any point in the day, it felt like it was just that type of cigar, even being as big and fat as it was.
Yeah.
But the flavors just had a nice kind of gradual transition between them. I thought it was really well balanced, in my opinion. I haven't had a Honduran Puro, and I can't even tell you how long. And part of me is thinking that I'm delusional and have never had one anyway.
You have.
But I was like, fuck, that's a nice change, man.
Yeah.
I really liked the flavors. I really did. And at a $12 price point, I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
That's a good fucking cigar.
Yeah. I agree. There's three things that I think about. One, great departure from what is traditional in Placencia, I think, for the most part. I think two, I like the fact that it was just a departure in kind of a flavor profile overall, untraditional to Placencia. And three, it's not like any other Honduran Puro I've had, which I really enjoyed about the cigar. I had certain preconceived ideas of what I thought what the flavors were going to be up front, just in like the characteristics of Honduran tobacco, some of the tried and true characteristics of Honduran tobacco. And really the way that this was blended together, and even perhaps what they used from the different regions and different seeds, was totally different than what I expected. But that's, I think, what I liked about it. I did think that the cigar had a little bit of a wildness to it, smoking early on, but I don't, not in terms of like it being pungent or crazy, just it had some like very different characteristics that I'm not used to. Almost like my tongue was like, what the fuck is that? Which I actually liked about the cigar. I got a ton of that like bitter cocoa flavor, like bittersweet cocoa flavor. That is like, to me, the most dominant flavor, I think, in the cigar overall. A little bit of pepper just kind of sitting on the palate, but not anything that's like too crazy. No. It doesn't blow your face off, which obviously I appreciate and would expect out of a Honduran Puro. What I really liked about it, but I will say this, up until like the halfway point, I thought it was kind of tame. I agree with you. Like it's not like an overwhelming cigar. It's not like, I wouldn't say this is like completely full flavored where it's like in your face. Up until the 50% mark, I was a little bit underwhelmed, but then it hits that halfway point. And to me, it got very like woody and very earthy, which I loved. Like the introduction of those flavors with that bittersweet cocoa, all of that melded together, it just amplified the cigar through the rest of it, which I really, once it hit 50, I was like, hot damn, this thing is crazy. Not like any other Honduran Puro that I've ever had. I really freaking liked it. I like that it was so characteristically different from other Placencia cigars. It stands out on the shelves, no pun intended, especially with the Vitola, than any other Placencia cigar. It's like you could keep all the other ones kind of together and go, hey, this whole thing makes sense. This to me is like the redheaded stepchild. It's like the adopted son that's just sitting off in the fucking corner, but is also like ends up being Superman at the same time.
Yes.
Really, really, really good cigar. I love what they did with it. Love the Vitola. I thought it was great. I thought it was great of them to use and utilize Honduran Puro for the Placenta Coachella 149.
Yes.
Fantastic. All right, quick summary.
What about the price, though?
Oh shit, $12 price point. Yeah, I didn't even talk about the price. I'd say because it is on par with the Cosecha 146 and because I thought the flavors were as good as they are, plus I'm smoking other cigars that are, for whatever reason, it seems like the pricing continues to elevate from these companies, and I keep seeing these emails where it's like price increases, price hikes, and now that blended average where we're saying, hey, great value cigars for great flavor or $8, $9, $10 is kind of elevating to the $10, $11, $12 range. For $12, I'm like, this thing's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
In an almost 5x60. And like in a Vitola that I never smoke. 60 ring gauge.
Yeah.
Fucking great.
Yeah, I think $12 is a great price for it.
I think it's appropriate for sure.
Yeah.
Quick summary of the cigar.
10 out of 10 on construction. Great construction. Fucking beautiful. Love the label.
Yep.
Burn. 20 out of 20. What a cool fucking box press being 60 ring gauge too. And it really does produce and smoke and consistency and burn.
Yep.
Like no issues whatsoever. Flavor. Fucking crazy. It really is. It was such a cool departure from flavors from the rest of their lineup, and it literally is a great anytime cigar. And it was a nice kind of fantasy vacation of flavors for me, especially this morning when I smoked it.
Yeah,
it's great. Love the flavors. Gave it at 25.5 out of 30 on that.
Ooh.
And the price points. Perfecto. I think it's the right price point for it. I even wish some of the other Placencias were just a little bit lower, but I still find them kind of worth it.
Yeah.
Mine comes out at a 92.5, which is highly recommended.
Damn. Our scores are going to be very close. I gave it a 10 out of 10 on construction. Thought it was fucking superbly made, which, like I would say, is very expected in most Placencia cigars. I thought equally as good was the burn of the cigar. No challenges whatsoever. And that beautiful fucking robust box press. Just amazing. 20 out of 20. Love the flavors. Love that they were so drastically different. One, from Placencia cigars, but two, from any other Honda Imperial that I've ever had. I give it a 25 out of 30 on flavor. Thought it was appropriately priced, which gives me a 91.7, which gives us
that's a solid 92,
right at a 92.
Yeah.
See, Placencia may be mad at me for mispronouncing the cigar and their name. And yes, they correct me. But I'm going to give you a fucking fair score when a fair score is deserved. And this cigar is one of the cooler cigars that I've smoked in quite some time.
Yeah,
I loved that it was just different.
Yeah, it's good.
It's really, really good. I think, honestly, beats the fucking pants off that $20 natural.
Yeah.
Beats the pants off of it.
Yeah.
Even in this fucking fat gordito.
Listen, and if there's
Fantastic.
any hurt feelings here, Placencia, just know that when we heckle brands, most of the time it's because we hate them. But with you, it's different.
Yeah.
When
Gurkha, you listen to this?
When we heckle you, it's because we love you. It's like the family member that is it's like the family members that are all sarcastic to each other to get a little rise, a little laugh out of you.
Yeah.
Get you to lighten up.
Yep.
Loosen them shoulders a bit.
Yep.
Quit taking things so serious. I know you have an impeccable record. And I know you like to post photos of everyone that's smoking a Placencia, like how amazing this is.
Yeah.
But take it from me when I say this. We love you. So I encourage you, go back to Cory's recent post where he calls you placenta and repost it. Because I feel like you'll be doing yourself a world of good. Yep. You'll be able to poke fun at yourself. Ha ha, couple laughs. And you'll be able to enjoy the rest of your lives.
I feel like some Spanish person on the other end is like, oh, Mr. Funny Guy.
Mr. Funny Guy.
He thinks he's Mr. Funny Guy. I'm like, that's not the first time, by the way, they've corrected my spelling of Placencia.
I'm sure.
They did that in a write-up one time, too, a review on the site. Somebody over there is super sensitive about how Placencia is spelled.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is hilarious. Anyway, there you go. Episode 221. So fucking excited to break that cigar down. Hope you guys, they're hitting the shelves. But I will say this. I know for certain they're already back ordered at the factory. So whatever's on the shelves now will be on the shelves only for a limited time. And then it's going to be a little while before they're back. So if you get a chance to get them now, I'd say get them. If you can't get to a local B&M to get them or they don't have them, I would say buy them online. It's certainly a cigar that you want to probably smoke before the end of the year. Otherwise, you're going to be disappointed if you don't.
Yeah.
All right. Let's wrap it up. What do we got? Subscribe to us on YouTube. You could do that. Our YouTube channel is actually kind of growing a little bit. and kind of unintentionally. And we're in basically every podcast platform that you could possibly imagine. Like there's new ones every day. Like there's one called Deezer. I was like, what the fuck's a Deezer?
Really?
I don't know what a Deezer is, but it's a podcast platform. Yeah, it just keeps updating directories. So we're just like all over the place.
Yeah, okay, that's good.
And when people are like, hey, where can I listen to your stuff? I'm like, if you cannot fucking use Google, I say this all the time. Like, dude, it will literally, if you just Google the Hot Ticket Podcast, you can literally listen to the episodes from the Google search results. Literally, it's on the fucking page.
That's true.
So you can listen to it literally everywhere. So it's out there. Anyway, all right. This will conclude episode 221.
Yeah.
We'll be back at you guys next week with episode 222. See y'all.
Bye.